You are not marrying a man. You are marrying the state, with the empire, with a being who is raised since childhood to believe that everything, including you, belongs to him. Congratulations, you are now real property. The ceremony is beautiful, golden, ornate. The whole kingdom acclaims you as if they were seeing a living goddess. But behind the scenes, maids whisper, "One more. Let's see how long it lasts." Because being a queen doesn't mean glamour. It means walking a tightrope with a heavy crown on your head. What about the wind? The wind comes from all sides, from the people, from the court, from the enemies, and mainly, from the king. You wake up in a palace with 1,000 servants, but you never feel alone. Do you know why? Because you are always being watched. Looks in the windows, behind the curtains, behind the mirrors. You are now the center of a political game, and everyone wants to know what your next step will be, to know whether they should applaud you or poison you. And the king? He loves you. At least, that's what he said on the first day. But on the second, he sleeps with someone else. In the third, he accuses you of being too sad. In the room, he sends a doctor to check if you are crazy. You learn fast. Never talk too much. Never talk too little. Don't look too much at the king, but don't ignore it either. Smile, but don't make it seem forced. Dress well, but not better than him. It's like living in a play where you've never read the script. Do you think marriage is protection? It is not. It's just a prison with velvet. And sometimes the velvet catches fire. Because at any moment, the king could wake up and decide you are a threat, or that he is having visions, or that he dreamed that you cheated on him. And no one will ask if it's true. They just go, "Bring the executioner." Look what happened to Anne Boleynto. She married Henry VIII, the most powerful king in England. He promised eternal love, a break with the church, and a throne beside him. Result? She did not birth a male child, and had his head cut off. Oh, you didn't give him any heirs? So you are sterile, or witch, or traitor, or all together. In ancient times, a queen's uterus was like a royal coffer. If it did not produce gold, it was considered useless. What if you're too pretty? Problem. They will accuse you of seducing ministers, soldiers, knights, even statues if necessary. If it's too ugly? Problem too, because then the king might become disenchanted and order you to be exchanged for a younger woman. Yes, same market. The court is a minefield. The queen's ladies are the king's spies. The king's advisors whisper with his enemies. And you? You have to smile in the midst of it all as if you were in a flower garden. But you know, the flowers are poisoned. You hear stories of other queens. The one from Babylon who was killed by poison disguised as makeup. The one from Persia, which mysteriously disappeared during a storm. That of ancient Rome, which had its name erased from all records. And you begin to understand. The position of queen is temporary. The widow's is more permanent. The king is surrounded by concubines. You are the main one, they say. But that changes depending on who danced best at yesterday's banquet. If you show jealousy, it's drama. If you don't show it, it's coldness. Either way, you lose. Oh, but what if you have a political opinion? That's hell. You become ambitious, manipulative, dangerous. The same advice they gave to thousands of queens. Be beautiful, quiet, fertile, and disposable. At night, the king calls you to sleep. You are tired, sad, sick, but it doesn't matter. He wants your presence. And if you refuse,
It could turn into royal disobedience, or worse, into silent rebellion. So you pretend, smile on the face, makeup on the face, imported perfume, impeccable dress. You dance, kiss, compliment, while on the inside you hope he won't be the next cautionary tale. You get pregnant. Congratulations? Not yet, because now the palace becomes an even crazier place. The pregnancy has to be perfect. If it's a girl, maybe it's the end. If it's a boy, it might just be the beginning of a new dispute. The advisors are already preparing alternatives, Plan B, substitutes, relatives with royal blood. You are not irreplaceable. In fact, no one in the palace is. Only the king. And even he keeps looking over his shoulder. And even if you play the game, even if you dance to the music, it can all end in a second. A rumor, a forged letter, a sideways glance, and the queen becomes a prisoner, or worse, it becomes a memory. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Ask Catherine Howard. She was 16 when she married King Henry VIII. He was obsessed with her for 2 months. After that, the rumors started. Then the interrogations. Then the execution. Kiss on the mouth, axe on the neck. In ancient times, queens did not have mother-in-laws. She had generals, priests, and diplomats deciding what she could wear, eat, or say. His body was a symbol. Her uterus was her heritage. And her mind? Non-existent, at least in official records. What if you had ideas, like improving the tax system or protecting the kingdom's children? Congratulations, you will be accused of conspiring against the nobility, because every woman who thinks too much becomes an enemy of the state, especially if you wear a crown. The king can betray you, humiliate you in public, use you as diplomatic currency. But you? If you dare to smile at another man, you can already choose your last dress and a hairstyle that matches the guillotine.
Marrying a king was like sleeping next to a tiger dressed in velvet. He can purr today, but tomorrow you might wake up hungry, and you are breakfast. And there's no point in running away, because the only real exit from the palace is through the tomb gate, or being buried alive in gossip that will turn you into a legend or a witch. And all this in exchange for what? A throne? A title? A life of jewels, luxury, and constant dread? You can't even say you have freedom. You have royal permission, which is the fanciest form of slavery. Some queens tried to play the game. They wrote secret letters. They made hidden alliances. Some even hired assassins. But guess what? In the end, they were the ones who made headlines. Traitor queen dies for ambition. Never a woman tried to survive a marriage with her own tormentor. You are watched even in the shower. Yes, in the bath. Because what if you're trying to escape through a hidden pipe, or hiding a document, or worse, reading poetry about freedom? Even your diary can kill you. A misinterpreted sentence, a name written in the corner of the page, and ready. His head is already in the public square before the sun rises. And then there are the other women in the palace. Some want to be you. Others want to replace you. The worst ones want to help you. They offer you calming teas, that maybe they are just herbs, or maybe they are liquid silence. Sometimes the king disappears for days. Come back drunk, with strange perfume, and you have to pretend nothing happened, because queens don't cry. Queen waits understandingly. Queen understands the burden of male power. Queen swallows her anger with wine. There are nights when you wake up to screams. Sometimes they are from the people. Sometimes they are yours. Because the nightmare of being married to a king doesn't end when you sleep. It infiltrates your dreams, and then into your bones. You start to forget who you were before. Who was it again? The girl who laughed out loud? Who was hidden? Who thought that marrying a king was the greatest prize in the world? Now, you can't even look in the mirror without seeing a living statue. Makeup covers dark circles. The dress disguises the emotional bruises. But you know, inside, you are rotting. Not for lack of love, but out of excessive fear. And then one day, the king appears with another, a new bride, younger, more docile, more useful. And the people scream her name, forget yours. They erase your tapestry, your face on the coins, your name in the decrees. If you're lucky, you'll be exiled. If you're unlucky, you'll be poisoned. If you're very unlucky, you'll be taken to the square in chains to serve as an example. And yet, there are people who still say, "But she was a queen," as if that was an excuse for a lifetime of humiliation with a crown. They don't understand that the queen's power was a golden trap, that the throne came with handcuffs, that love came with the will where your name was scrawled in blood. In history, few remember the pain. They remember the crown, the soul of the jewels, but they don't remember the cold rooms of suspicious looks, of the constant terror of taking a false step and never take another step.
You were the most powerful woman in the kingdom, and yet he could barely breathe without permission. His portrait remains on the wall, beautiful, frozen in time, but no one says that the smile there was forced, and the eyes, even painted, begged for someone to notice, "I was never free." So the next time someone says, "She was lucky, she married a king," you already know the truth. Marrying a king in ancient times was a golden dream, which always ended up as a nightmare.